the High Republic era, officially a golden age of peace and Republic expansion, guided by a flourishing Jedi Order. The defining event wasn't triumph, but the Great Hyperspace Disaster around 232 BBY, a freighter obliterated in hyperspace, showering countless systems with lethal near-lightspeed debris, killing millions instantly and shattering the galaxy's sense of security. Exploiting the ensuing chaos and fear were the Nihil Marauders, using secret hyperspace paths to launch unpredictable terror attacks, including the devastating destruction of the Republic Fair on Valo. Alongside this anarchic violence emerged profoundly disturbing threats, the carnivorous, dark-side plant creatures called the Drengir, and even more terrifying, the Nameless, the Shriekerai, entities capable of inducing madness and turning Force sensitives into petrified husks. The era's catastrophic low point was the fall of Starlight Beacon, a symbol of Republic hope, destroyed by Nihil sabotage and potentially these nameless creatures, resulting in immense loss of life and forcing a fearful Jedi Order to retreat and adopt defensive Guardian protocols. This period proved that even golden ages can fracture, exposing the galaxy to not just conventional conflict, but the terrifying brutality of cosmic accident, calculated terror, and existential, force-nullifying horror. The Clone Wars, ignited around 22 BBY, weren't a noble fight for the Republic. They were a 3-year galactic meat grinder engineered by the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, hiding in plain sight as Chancellor Palpatine. Controlling both the Republic and the Separatist movement through his apprentice Count Dooku, Sidious orchestrated a devastating conflict designed to bleed the galaxy, corrupt the Jedi by forcing them into the role of generals, leading a secret slave army of clones, and concentrate power in his own hands. But the true, horrifying masterstroke lay dormant within the clones themselves, inhibitor chips programmed with Order 66. This surgically implanted betrayal turned loyalty into a weapon. When activated, the clones, biologically compelled, executed their Jedi commanders across the galaxy almost instantaneously. Jedi Masters like Plo Koon and Aayla Secura were gunned down by troops they trusted. The newly fallen Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, cemented his turn by leading the massacre at the Jedi Temple, slaughtering knights, Padawans, and even younglings. Order 66 represents perhaps the most brutal betrayal in galactic history, a systematic genocide orchestrated from within, decimating the Jedi Order and paving the way for Palpatine to declare himself Emperor, transforming the Republic into the tyrannical Galactic Empire. Moving on from the fire of the Clone Wars, the galaxy entered the chilling grip of the Galactic Empire, the Dark Times. For nearly 2 decades, Emperor Palpatine consolidated power, not just through military might, but through the insidious architecture of fear. Systemic brutality became the norm. Pervasive surveillance monitored citizens. Relentless propaganda demonized the fallen Jedi and glorified Imperial Order, and the xenophobia was rampant. Darth Vader, alongside the ruthless Inquisitors, continued the Great Jedi Purge, hunting down surviving Force sensitives. The regime's philosophy was crystallized in the Tarkin doctrine of rule through the fear of Force, not necessarily Force itself. This meant that while overt atrocities like the later Gorman massacre served as terrifying examples, the daily reality for most was a quieter, grinding oppression, economic exploitation, stifled dissent, and the constant anxiety that the Empire's boot could come down at any moment. It was an era designed to break spirits and enforce compliance through psychological control, creating a seemingly stable but deeply rotten peace that inevitably bred the seeds of desperate rebellion. Dark times exploded into the Galactic Civil War. This wasn't just scattered resistance anymore. It was full-scale, asymmetric warfare across the stars, pitting the Rebel Alliance's strategic strikes and desperate hope against the Empire's colossal war machine. The brutality escalated horrifically with the deployment of the Death Star. In a calculated act of genocide meant to crush all opposition, Grand Moff Tarkin, with Vader at his side, ordered the annihilation of Alderaan, wiping billions from existence in a single, blinding flash. Even after the Emperor's death at Endor, his malice lingered through Operation Cinder, a posthumous command unleashing climate devastation on Imperial and Rebel worlds alike, a final nihilistic punishment for a galaxy that had failed him. Against this backdrop of unimaginable destruction and the continued frontline savagery embodied by Darth Vader, the rebellion fought on, fueled by righteous anger and the hope for freedom, achieving miraculous victories like Yavin and Endor, but always at the cost of immense sacrifice. This era was defined by the horrific potential of unchecked power and the resilience required to stand against it. The fall of the Empire should have ushered in lasting peace. Instead, the New Republic era became a lesson in complacency's devastating cost. While the restored Republic demilitarized and struggled with political infighting, Imperial hardliners secretly rebuilt their strength in the unknown regions, forging the First Order under the guidance of Palpatine's proxy, Snoke. They built legions using children kidnapped and indoctrinated into service. Then, around 34 ABY, they unleashed Starkiller Base. This planet-sized weapon didn't just destroy one world, it annihilated the entire Hosnian system, the seat of the Republic government, simultaneously wiping out 5 planets and billions of lives in a single, horrifying blast visible across the galaxy. This Hosnian cataclysm, arguably the largest act of mass murder ever recorded, decapitated the New Republic and plunged the galaxy back into war. The ensuing conflict was short but savage, with the vastly outnumbered resistance led by Leia Organa fighting a desperate battle for survival against the First Order's advanced technology and fanatical stormtroopers. The final reveal of Palpatine's return and his planet-killing Sith fleet on Exegol represented the culmination of this brutal resurgence, requiring a galaxy-wide uprising, Jedi sacrifice, and a desperate final stand to ultimately end the Sith threat. So, from the hidden horrors of the High Republic and the engineered betrayal of the Clone Wars, through the systemic cruelty of the Empire and the superweapon terror of the Civil War, to the shocking cataclysm that birthed the First Order conflict, Star Wars history is marked by distinct, devastating chapters of brutality. Each era inflicted its own unique scars: the psychic dread of the Nameless, the horror of Order 66, the grinding fear under Imperial rule, the genocide of Alderaan, the instant annihilation of Hosnian Prime. Analyzing them reveals a cycle fueled by fear, ambition, and the seductive power of the dark side, countered only by resilience, sacrifice, and defiant hope. Which era was truly the most brutal? The answer likely lies not just in the death toll, but in the nature of the suffering inflicted. What dark chapter in the galaxy's history do you find the most chilling? Let us know below. If you want more deep dives into Star Wars history, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.